With that, cool.
Scoggins.
So this is the bit where I pour my heart out to you now, having gone through all that. So this is about my broken heart. But yes, I am recently married, and that bit's fine. That bit's fine. Good old Dave. But my broken heart's about something very specific, and that is I've never been a pop star. I've never been a pop star, and yet I've been into music for as long as I can remember. I mean, proper Nerdsville. I can relay Factory Records catalogue numbers. I once won 3 years of Spotify premium membership because I won a pop quiz that was meant for teams of 6. I mean, proper nerdy shit. But through all of that, and through all of my record collecting, and all of my love of music, I can't play a note. I can't play a note right. And I was thrown out of the only band I've ever been in. Because there I am, hiding at the back. I could do the do-do-dos and the la-la-las, but I couldn't also do the shaky egg at the same time. And the band were really, really sweet about it. They disbanded, and then they reformed half an hour later. Very sweet. So as you can imagine, the thought that AI could help me create music is just the most fantastic thing. I find it very, very exciting. So exciting that this is the inside of my head right now. It is new and it's shiny and it's something that I can take hold of, isn't it? But AI helping create music is not new. So our friend Jean-Michel Jarre, I was about to say Jacques Cousteau. Jacques Cousteau, as far as I'm aware, has never had anything to do with music. Jean-Michel Jarre was ripping apart synthesizers and making his own stuff and putting in inputs to get different outputs back in the 70s. You know, this is not actually as new as everybody would like to think of it as being shiny. In fact, the more modern age of this comes in kind of 2015-ish. Another Frenchman, also not Jacques Cousteau, but Francois Pachet, was working at Sony's Consumer Research Labs in Paris and was working on a project called Flow Machines. And Flow Machines, they fed in every Beatles song, the whole back catalogue, and out of that spat a new Beatles song. To put it in kind of simple terms. I'm looking at Tom because I know he's a really big Beatles fan, and I bet he's heard it and I bet he hates it.
Well, they didn't write the lyrics, they just came up with
They didn't write the lyrics.
So
not only did they not write the lyrics, but what spat out of the computer was a composed piece of music, but then real people had to play it. Okay. So we're talking about sort of infancy of this stuff. Now, there are some artists who are now playing with multiple AI applications and creating whole pieces of music. So there's a girl called Taryn Southern. I think she was a finalist on like The Voice or something in the States. Taryn Southern, am I along the right lines? Yeah, thanks. And Taryn Southern is now writing music using lots of different applications and putting out whole albums worth of it. It's a good example of this happening. I wouldn't say it's an example of good music, but it is a good example. No discredit to the lady, but some work on the lyrics would be good. So I'll show you a selection of AI applications. We'll just whiz through some of which you can download. I'll tell you if they're available in the App Store and stuff, and so you can go home and have a good play on some of them. Some of them are definitely for a particular use of that music, so a lot of them are to do with sync, and are to do with putting music to ads and to film, etc., and games. Okay, first up, Alicia. Now, Alicia you can download at the moment, so it's ALYSIS. Don't put in two S's, otherwise you get an AI-powered radio station. But this is hilarious. I played about with this week and wrote a song in a country disco style. You get a selection, so why not? Chose country and disco. You get to choose your own melody lines, and in my case I inputted some lyrics. My song's called Elon's Rocket. I'll leave that with you. And you can input some lyrics, and you can get the app can sing it for you, or you can sing it yourself. But I really recommend Alicia. It's on the fun side of this. They haven't yet pivoted to just do boring enterprise things. So do have a look. Duke Deck. Who here has heard Duke Deck? Heard of Duke Deck before? Okay, they've been going for quite a while. 2015, Duke Deck arrived, and they were the first sort of, we're going to make this really easy. Creation of music to go alongside content. It was literally a button for how long do you want it to last? Right, 32 seconds. What kind of genre do you want? What kind of instrumentation? And then boom, you had your piece of music. £1.99? You could buy the license for it. £199? Buy the whole thing, knock yourself out. And of course this is a fantastic thing for YouTubers, people who are constantly uploading small bits of content. Fantastic, no rights issues to worry about. Fabulous, fabulous. Duke Deck have a great SoundCloud of all the kind of things that they've been producing. And Duke Deck, J-U-K-E, D-E-C-K, yeah. Their SoundCloud is probably the best place to go to hear the kinds of things that they're producing. Amper, interesting, because when they first came out, they were just like Duke Deck. But a couple of things have happened since. They, most notably, said, right, we're going to focus on enterprise stuff. And in September, they actually took down their tool to be able to compose it yourself. And just this week, they've come out to say what they've been working on. And it's a product called Amper Score, and it is for putting music onto ads, onto content, etc. And it's in a way that people get through a lot more work in a much quicker time frame. They're talking about 90% of time cut off for people instead of looking through library music. So interesting. Now on top of that, what I think is more interesting is that they've just done a deal this week with the world's largest streaming service. Does anyone know who the world's largest streaming service is? QQ. You say QQ? So QQ, who are owned by Tencent, are by far the biggest streaming service. Now, we don't know what they're going to do with this technology with them, but it's going to be on a really, really big scale. So definitely ones to watch. Ava, more French. There's a lot of French people being involved in AI music, it seems. Stands for Artificial Intelligence Virtual Artist. This one's all about the totes emotion. These ones are talk about writing emotional music for soundtracks, which is all fabulous. The slightly scary thing is that she has just been registered with one of the rights collection agencies. So, when you write a song, you tell a rights collection agency, so here it might be, you would use a company called PRS for music. No, PPR. Yeah, PPR. And then whenever your song is played, you get your royalties from it, basically. So they collect all the royalties up and make sure that you get paid for whenever your song is heard. So this is a weird area for the future, because if machines are creating it and they're collecting the money, I hope it's being held in a trust fund for her for when she gets a body, is all I can say. Pop Gun. Pop Gun's really interesting as well. Started out in 2017 as part of Techstars, and originally they were going to train their AI on all the biggest hits on Spotify and then write a hit. I mean, this is my kind of thing, right? This is what I need to be a pop star. But while they were doing it, they discovered that what they could brilliantly do was develop an AI called Alice, and Alice would play the piano with you. So you would play a piece, and she would play a piece. You would end up duetting. Loads of people found this great. It's great for kids, because you were practicing and learning without your dad having to tell you, get upstairs, practice that piano. But what they've done now is they've now added drums to that, and bass to that. And they can play between themselves, and so now I get a backing band. This is great. I don't need that band anymore.
Emily, so you play and they instantly play along with you, or you have to play them the song and then they work it out?
It's along with you.
From the get-go?
From the get-go.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't need a band anymore. I'm going to call them Pop Gun. It'll be my band. This is Mellow Drive. Mellow Drive are great for putting music behind, so Mellow, M-E-L-O, Drive. These are great for putting music behind games. So as the game's going on, you've got music going on the whole time. Great, fine, done by loads of people. But what they do is they can change the music to reflect what's going on sort of emotionally in the game. So if you're all of a sudden, you are shooting your way through whatever, and you're at some moment of peril, I wouldn't be able to watch. But the music will reflect that. So that's a really exciting way of doing it. Interesting, this is free as well. There's an indie beta that you can have a play with. At the moment there are 4 styles of music, so there's ambient, house, piano and rock for you to play with. AI music. AI music holds a special place in my heart. This is a young British company and they're doing something really different. So until now we've talked about putting in a ton of music and seeing what we get out. AI music have developed, what a name to pick, AI music, if that's your, that's your field. Well done them. But they've got a product which is about shape-shifting, right? So say you've got a 70s banger, like Get It On, and you love that song, favourite song, love that song, but I'm going to do yoga right now, and I don't really want it in that 70s stomper style. You can, with literally the push of a couple of bars on your phone, make it into something that is suitable for that. You can also make it suitable if you're going to go to a boxing class and kick the shit out of something. You can make it for a dinner party, a different version of it. And obviously there's applications for this with remixes and stuff coming up. But that's really interesting because they're not just, I've had a demo of it, we're not just talking about taking that top line and that lyric and putting it over the top of some drum and bass or something. We're talking about the builds and the drops and everything working with it. So pretty amazing stuff. Amadeus Code, this is a new one. This is for songwriters really, so this wouldn't be any good for me, but it's a songwriting assistant. Amadeus Code, they were pitching on Monday actually, and the creator said something really interesting about this whole thing, which is when we only had sort of wood to make instruments out of, we had wood instruments, when metal manufacture came to a point where you could make tune-perfect metal objects to be brass instruments, now brass instruments, you can make an electric guitar until a certain point, Ableton and electronics, fine. AI is just the next step on that journey, which I thought was really interesting. This one, AI music.
Oh, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, so there's that. Simply confusing, there's that. Nearly at the end. Endel creates adaptive music, check this out, based on circadian rhythms, pentatonic scale and sound masking, which sounds like something someone would say to you at 4 o'clock in the Stone Circle at Glastonbury today. And I'm not sure I trust those types. But it takes inputs from, literally from your heart rate, and from the weather, and from the time, and it makes music that's constant, so you can have it playing and have it on your desk as you're trying to focus, or if you're trying to get off to sleep, if you're trying to relax. And that's quite a big there's quite a big space for that in music at the moment, I think, music for purpose like that. Interesting thing about this one is that they were part of Amazon Alexa's incubator. And so there's an iOS app, but also they're going to have it ready for Apple TV, and they're going to have it somehow involved with our nosy little friend in the corner. And that will be coming to her, I won't say her name out loud, very soon, I'm sure. Okay, last one. So, Hum On. As you can imagine, Hum. This was about, actually it started off with Samsung. This came out of a Samsung product where you would hum into your phone, Samsung, Alt, and then it would make a whole track from that, which is really great. But just like several of these, came out in 2017. By 2018, they'd realised that actually where the money is in people who need to generate soundtracks often and put together a lot of content. So they're now pitching it squarely at content creators who are uploading lots and lots of hours per week of content with their music on the background. There is an app currently available on the app stores if you'd like to download it. So this is great. I get to be a pop star, right? So I've got any number of these things. I'm going to be rubbing shoulders with the glitterati. I'm going to be, this is my audition for a judge on The Voice. I don't even want to go on the show, which is great. Releasing pop singles. This is going to be awesome. Apart from it's not. Because my mum says I've got lots of talents, but being a musician is not one. And to be honest, why should I be a musician? I've got no talent in it. I think that the products that we've spoken about tonight, these apps are brilliant for people who are already creators. I think they are brilliant as collaboration tools. And I think that they're going to open up what's possible in music, and for people who already have an interest and have some talent, like mine. However, I would have to disagree with the godlike genius that is Nick Cave. At some point, I believe that we will see AI making songs that can resonate as much as Spell That Teen Spirit can. And they're currently mapping human emotions against musical sounds. It's not that unfeasible, this stuff, right? And I know that Tom is going to shout at me and talk about context. No, he's not going to shout at me. He wouldn't shout at me. But about context. Now, if you think about, is it Lil Michaela on Instagram, who is, she's an avatar, real. She's a put together Instagram influencer. If being a fan of an artist means, you know, you give something and take something from that person, it doesn't matter whether she is real or not, it seems, to a lot of people. She could be a piece of, you know, software, or she could be BTS, or she could be, you know, any other pop star. But I do think that at some point, humanity, whether we're ready or not, and we're not yet, but we'll see songs perfectly and brilliantly created by AI. Woo!